During their brutal and ruthless reign, the Mongols faced rebellions in various areas under their rule. But the most significant and fierce rebellion was the Red Turban Rebellion in China. In all the provinces of Yuan dynasty China, the red-colored turban became a symbol of resistance against oppressive and tyrannical Mongol rule. By the year 1294, the Mongol Empire had reached its greatest size and had split into multiple empires and khanates. In 1271, Kublai Khan established the Yuan dynasty in China. During the mid-1300s, there was a widespread awakening amongst the Chinese people as the people were reminded of the despotism and corruption of the Mongol rulers through famine, floods, and the lack of government support in the face of these tragedies. During this period, the Mongols also excessively taxed the population of China. For example, the national tax revenue increased by more than 20 times compared to what it was at the beginning of the Yuan dynasty. In the late Yuan dynasty, the ruling class, dominated by Mongolian nobles, plundered the wealth of the Chinese people and enslaved all of the ethnic groups of China, especially the Han people. The Mongol rulers started to annex land and turn vast fertile fields into pastures. Many corrupt Mongolian ministers were rewarded with land that was confiscated from poor Chinese farmers. For example, it is reported that the Mongolian minister known as Boyan was rewarded with 20,000 hectares of land, which was confiscated from Chinese farmers. These neglectful and oppressive government policies eventually led to the rise of the Red Turban Rebellions throughout China. The Red Turban movement attracted followers from all kinds of classes of Chinese society. Peasants, wealthy merchants, and religious societies such as the outlawed White Lotus Society were all among the participants of the Red Turban Rebellions against Mongol rule. The Muslims in the Fujian province also joined the Red Turban movement. The Red Turban Rebellion is reported to have been initiated by a religious Buddhist sect known as the White Lotus Society. The White Lotus Society found followers among the exploited peasantry in China. Later, after the Red Turban Rebellion had grown significantly, the White Lotus Society was joined by the famous Zhu Yangshuang, who eventually would become the leader of the new China after Mongols were finally overthrown. Wherever the Red Turban army went, they opened warehouses and scattered rice to help poor peasants and won the support of the local people. The masses joined the Red Turban army one after another, and rebels quickly expanded to hundreds of thousands. There were various warring factions within the Red Turban Rebellion. However, the movement that initially gained the most support was the White Lotus movement, as their leaders encouraged people to not pillage after conquering places and to distribute rice to gain followers. The Mongol court and the provincial administrations could still rely on a large number of faithful officials and soldiers, and so the progress of the rebel movement in the 1350s and the 60s remained slow. However, the rebel armies who had chosen what is now Nanjing as their base took Dadu in 1368. The Mongol emperor fled, followed by the remnants of his overthrown government. The Red Turban Rebellion lasted extremely long, and it took 13 years to overthrow the Mongol Yuan dynasty. There are various reasons for the length of this rebellion. Although the Red Turban Rebellion initially seemed like a unified movement, it eventually split into factions, and like any other rebellion, local warlords and criminals took advantage of the chaos and seized their own territories. This resulted in infighting and greed, which destroyed the unity of the Red Turban movement. Another reason for the lack of unity was religious differences within the rebellion. For example, Zhu Yuanzhang eventually abandoned the White Lotus Society, which was regarded as a heretic sect by Confucianism. Thus, Zhu Yuanzhang later referred to the White Lotus sect as a pagan sect. Historians argue that this change of perception was so that he could gain political power and more widespread support, and so that he could eventually conquer China and become the leader of the newly established Ming dynasty.